Welcome to Now. In this hour, we want you to meet some women who rarely turn up in the news, but have a lot to tell us about how the world works, especially the phenomenon known as globalization. Globalization has come to mean different things to different people, but stripped to the bare bones, it's about capital, money, roaming the world looking for the best deal. These days, it's accompanied by some abstract-sounding words like financial deregulation, privatization, and trade liberalization. But for the women you're about to meet, these abstractions play out as concrete realities. We begin in Asia, in Thailand, and as we do, take a look at the sneakers you're wearing or the shirt you have on. Your own connection to these women may be closer than you think. Early every morning, hour after hour, the buses come for them and carry them from the dorms where they live to the places where they work. Every seat is filled. 1 in 4 young women in Thailand works in a factory producing goods to be sold abroad. They are the fuel on which globalization runs.
All we can think about is that we have to catch the bus. We have to work. We get home at 2 or 3 a.m. and wash our clothes and try to get some rest.
During the holidays, we work all night, go home to shower and come right back.
If you can't take it, they tell you to leave, but they won't pay you what they owe you for the work you've already done.
If they are lucky, they make Bangkok's legal minimum wage, a bit less than $4 a day.
If they catch you yawning, they fine you 500 baht.
500 baht is $12, 3 times their daily pay.
People have asked me, how can I tolerate this? Most of the people I work with come from upcountry and use their pay to help the people back home. They're 18 or 19, and they still have the energy to work the hours.
My parents had 12 children. I was the youngest. Since I wasn't as good at school as my sister and we couldn't all go, I let her be the one to go to school. I sacrificed since I wasn't as clever. I'd rather send money home.
Suni Namso and Sompit Pungwa worked for a Thai-owned company called Bed and Bath Prestige. But instead of bed sheets and bath towels, they produced clothing for U.S. companies like Levi's, Reebok, and mostly Nike. What happened to them is played out around the world as global corporations constantly search for the cheapest labor possible and the least government hassle. On October 5th last year, when the Bed and Bath Prestige workers showed up at their factory, the gates were locked.
When we came to work, they wouldn't let us in. I knew that there were a lot of shipments that needed to go out that day because we'd been preparing them. So I called a supervisor about the shipment and explained that we needed to get into the factory right away in order to make it on time. If we didn't get in by 9, we wouldn't be able to ship. In my own thoughts, I was still worried for the company.
How can they treat workers this way? I had a goal to work here 3 to 4 years to save a lump sum of money, but then suddenly the factory closed down. I can't even understand why it closed. It can't be that there was no work. We were busy up until the very last day.
Abandoned and cheated out of their earnings, the Bed and Bath Prestige workers headed to the center of Bangkok to ask the Thai Ministry of Labor for help. 350 of them did something that's almost unheard of here. They vowed to stay in the courtyard until the minister upstairs enforced the law. They had been left without the wages they had already earned and without the severance pay required under Thai law when a factory shuts down.
We believed the ministry would help us solve our problem. We see them as authority figures, someone we look up to, someone on the side of the law.
We wanted our crew to follow them inside, but the Thai authorities said no. So some of the protesters dared to take a small video camera in with them and record what was happening.
They told us to get out of here. But if we can't trust our own Ministry of Labor to protect us, who can we go to? They keep repeating that bed and bath is a small case. If it's such a small case, why don't they solve it?
They had begun a sit-in. They were living here, eating here, sleeping here, and caring for their children. Some shaved their heads in protest. When they began to draw out attention and support, the ministry made it clear they were now unwelcome.
When they walk by, they won't even look at us. They treat us like trash, like we are trying to shame them. They just want to solve the problem of us being here. They've actually said when they run out of food, they'll go home. Why do they have to be so cruel?
We eat twice a day now, down from 3 times a day.
We're not going to leave. We're in this together. We need to find out exactly what our rights are. They can't just let this drag on and on.
6 weeks into the sit-in, Suni Namso had emerged as one of their leaders. She took it on herself to try to break through the bureaucracy upstairs.
They ask me what I want. All I want is for them to do their jobs. Just do what is written in the Constitution. Nothing above or beyond that. If you wrote that when a factory suddenly closes, I should go home and sleep, that's what I'll do. But you wrote so well about rights and actions. Are they just empty words? They said from the beginning that we cannot fight them. I'd like to change it to be called the Ministry of Investors, not the Ministry of Labor.
That, say observers of Thailand's place in the global economy, describes the problem perfectly.
The government had to balance between workers' interests and investors' interests, right? So they were, I think, seeing that they really can't enforce, they can't be on the side of the workers if it's going to chase investors away.
Like so many developing countries, Thailand is dwarfed by the power of global corporations. And like many developing countries, it has felt the pressure from international finance and trade agreements to liberalize its economy and remove barriers to foreign investment.
I think with this liberalization, we thought that, okay, when we produce something, it can go very far. It can sell to many people. And that's what we thought that is benefiting us as a poor country. But we don't look at the negative side. That it's not just only the commodity that will be freely move around. You can export, you can import, but it's also the capital, it's also labor.
You have to keep your labor cheap, the majority of your labor cheap, in order to grow. That's why you say that women are actually subsidizing all this accumulation of capital in the capitalist system, because they're the lowest paid.